also excited that I'm going to be taking a break. So today is going to be an extra powerful show, so I can leave you with enough energy to not miss me over the next 2 weeks. How about that? But guys, if you've just joined in, it is, of course, the Chalk Hill Community Radio Station. And it's Let's Talk Show live with your girl Blaze and Big E. As always, the Let's Talk Show starts with a quote, and today's quote goes simply like this. A bird doesn't sing because it has an answer. It sings because it has a song. That's quite interesting. Well, actually, E and I were talking about the fact that the sun is really shining. I didn't see any birds, but the sun is shining, but it is very chappy out there. So don't be fooled. So if you look out your window and you think, oh, it's summer, it is not. It is just sunny, but it is very cold. So please put on your wares and don't get caught out. So guys, welcome to Let's Talk Show Live. Welcome to the Chalk Hill Community Radio Station. The Chalk Hill Community Radio Station is all about keeping the community connected. Today's show is sponsored by Lloyd Montague of Forever Living. A big shouts go out to Nicosoft Media TV. We've got Ola in the house. So those of you that are listening just via audio, click on the YouTube link and you can see what's happening in the studio today. There are things actually for you to see. So you might want to click onto the YouTube channel, which should have accompanied the link for the live radio show. So do you want us to advertise anything? Do you want us to advertise your business? Are you recently an entrepreneur? Is there something you're selling, something you're talking about? Do let us know. Send a message here on 07956 548 781. That's 07956 548 781. That is also the number for all of your text messages or your WhatsApp messages if you want to get involved in the show. So when was the last time you did something for the first time? And of course, have you been living your life? Have you tried something for the first time? Has something new happened? We're all about celebrating and we'd love to hear from you. So do contact us via text message and share your good news. I don't know if I've done anything. I'll think about it. What have I done? And so, of course, it is a Let's Talk show where anything can happen, and Big E.
It usually does.
So let's see what happens today. There's always some great stuff that happens. But let's see what happens today. But the Let's Talk show is, of course, the real talk show. Sending shouts out to Celia and Al, who tune in before we do. A very good morning to both of you. It was great to see you yesterday. And talking about yesterday, Big E, we were at Autumn Leaves. What do you love about Autumn Leaves?
Autumn Leaves is just the fact that you can go out there and just be with the, let's say, the senior citizens out there and see how flexible and lively they are, and just to be in their surrounding and everything else. And yeah, it's a really nice experience.
I think what's funny about the terminology elders or senior citizens, 65 for me is young, right? I don't know if it's because I'm kind of edging in that direction. So it doesn't seem like an elders club. So we're going to say for those of you that are 65, you know they have the 1830 clubs?
Yeah.
Well, this is a 65 plus club.
Yeah.
And they really do range from probably 65 right up to 90. Someone said there was 100 yesterday, but I think he was just joking.
90, yeah, it was 90.
He was joking, but he's wonderful. And we have the best time. So it is the Autumn Leaves, which was put together by Samantha Banton. Big shouts to Samantha. Down at the Wise Community Centre, along with myself, Big E, and also 9 of 9's Health and Fitness Club. Recently joined by Al, who supports us to play the music. Yesterday was Heritage Day, so people put their flags, they repped their islands that they were from. We had some amazing ginger. The ginger was nice. Had some homemade bun. Accompanied with, that was nice, wasn't it? Accompanied with some cheese and not fritters. What are those things called? Coconut and sugar. What's it called? Drops. Some people call it drops. What else do you... Oh yeah, sugar cake. Some people call it sugar cake. Anyway, we did have a little bit of that because we know it's filled with a lot of sugar. But we also, someone brought in some green banana. But we also had, of course, the delicious range of soups. I mean, anyway, soups is like Soupgate. Every week there's something with the soup. It's either someone eating red peas should have been eating fish, someone eating fish should have been having veggies. I don't know how it happens, but it's always a mean feat. But at least we always have something to eat, and that's wonderful. And, of course, we had music. Nines has a way of interacting with these individuals, and they share their stories. They dance. Some of them are dancing when they shouldn't be dancing. It was set to be chair exercises, but I think they've kicked the chair out the room, and they are up on their feet.
Yeah.
So Heritage Day was just Heritage Day was absolutely brilliant yesterday. Okay, moving on very quickly. On Sunday, I did. On Sunday I did an interview with Norman Mullings at the Leary Constantine Centre. So that's probably the first time I've done a live podcast in that way. So probably that's the first thing I did. And there are some things I can write about and tell you how amazing it was. There are some things I can even just tell you how amazing it was. But there are some things that you need to be there to see it. You just had to be there to see it. And I was, you know how I love the Barlin. I was moved to tears, and Ola was there as well. I was moved to tears as soon as we announced Norman, and he was brought onto the stage by ISAM and also Trevor, who's his son-in-law. And what was moving about that was that for the first time I saw a great elder who has done some amazing work coming here in the UK from Jamaica. I mean, his story could not have been told on Sunday. It was the tip of the iceberg. But when I saw them leading him up, I don't know, I found it really moving, because I think we need to protect our elders. We need to celebrate them. We need to recognize them. You know, when we talk about our heroes and sheroes, we often talk about people that are no longer with us, that they're our ancestors, and we must do that and celebrate that. But when we celebrate those that are here in this time, in this space, I think it's a beautiful thing, because then they get to hear it. I know also that Norman himself was quite moved, and it was brilliant. So big thanks to everyone who made the event possible, and a massive thank you to everybody who showed up. I think we contemplated going to B&Q, that's not an advert, but and getting some more chairs. It was standing room only. The place was full like rice, and it was just really amazing to see. Ola's behind the cameras, but I know that he had a good time because he had a chat with me about that. It is, of course, Reggae Month, so we're going to be having some reggae today. No surprises there. I also want to do a big shout out to Naz, who's opened a new restaurant in Harlesden High Street. It's actually called Naz's Restaurant. I've been there a couple of times now. I've got to tell you, if you've ever been on holiday to Jamaica, or if you're from Jamaica and you've been to Hellshire Beach, when you eat the food there, for me anyway, it is amazing. It tastes fresh, it's wonderful, it's great. Well, somehow Naz has a way of recreating the Hellshire fish and seafood. Although I'm kind of not really eating fish now, but what I'm saying to you is that whether you eat fish, chicken, oxtail, the food looks good, the food is good, and I want to encourage people to go down to Naz's Restaurant in High Road, Harlesden, because we must celebrate our businesses. So check out Naz in Harlesden High Street. Okie dokie. So the Chalk Hill Community Trust Fund are celebrating their 25th anniversary. This is taking place on Saturday, 18th of April, from the hours of 4 until 8 p.m. It's going to take place at the Chalk Hill Community Centre, which is 113 Chalk Hill Road in Wembley. It's very near to Wembley Park Tube Station, and kind of just at the bottom or the back of Asda. And they celebrate 25 years of community impact with an evening of reflection, celebration and inspiration, plus entertainment from local performers and music by Chalk Hill Community Radio presenters, which happens to be us. It's going to be hosted by myself, Blaze from Let's Talk Show Live, and there's going to be food and drinks will also be provided. Now, the entry is free, but spaces are limited. So first come, first serve. You know how it goes, snooze and you lose. You can call 07 415 1666652. That number seems a bit long, but I guess it's right. Or you can email cctfcontact@gmail.com. It's the Chalk Hill Community Trust Fund 25th anniversary, and that's Saturday, 18th of April. So we're going to be collaborating with them. Okay, so we've got some amazing guests coming up today. We're going to be talking about how natural remedies can make a difference to your life. So stay tuned in to find out that, and about some jewelry. You guys know I love a jewelry. How is jewelry going to make me feel better? How can magnets show up in your life? Stay tuned in. Our first guest will be talking to us about that. You know also that last year, myself, E, and the team, Kosha Baden, have been working around health and inequalities, specifically aimed at the African Caribbean community. Well, I've recently joined a group, and they are absolutely amazing. One of the group members is here today, and we're going to be talking all things sickle cell. So stay tuned in. Coming up at 1:30, we've got Charles with the Health and Wellness Show. So grab yourself a drink after we've signed off, and tune back in for 1:30. Charles has got some amazing guests coming up. Okay, so I'm just going to talk to you about something. I think I heard about it last night, and I'm just going to put this out, and I really encourage comments. Now, apparently, universal credit, based on recent proposals, there is a suggestion that people receiving universal credit could be required to engage in community work, but that's not it. The community work, they say, such as litter picking. So that means picking up rubbish, just to make it plain, picking up rubbish from the floor or the park, wherever you are outside. So the proposal, the campaign group Clean Up Britain, has suggested that job seekers on universal credit should be required to undertake 4 hours of community litter picking every month. And the consequences are, if they don't take part in this, as I say, failure to comply, this will require or could result in a loss of benefits. Now, what say you? I think Mark Tyson said that. What say you? E, what's your thoughts on that?
I'm actually speechless. I mean, talking about trying to get people out to work, that is ridiculous. And I can't see a lot of people agreeing to that, because it's looking like now, I thought that was sort of like young offenders and stuff like that. So now all of a sudden it's people on universal credit now. It's just not fair. I think a lot of people have a lot to say about that.
Yeah, I was a bit like you. I was like, what? There's so many reasons. For a start, I just think my council tax, right, is too high. I actually called them and said, somehow you seem to be overcharging me. No, council tax is high. I didn't notice when it had gone up to that much. Council tax is high. So if my council tax is high and I'm paying council tax, and then for whatever reason I am on universal credit, are you saying to me, on top of when you're on universal credit, you're still paying council tax? Before I say that. But anyway, I would have paid some, unless I've been long time unemployed. But anyway, nonetheless, my council tax is that high, and you're telling me now that 4 hours a month, people who are unemployed, you don't know why they're unemployed, you're now suggesting that they are the people that should go out and pick up the rubbish off the street. Well, I'm going to leave that one to you guys. What say you? What say you? So, it is, of course, Reggae Month, and I'm going to play Morgan Heritage, because they are just one of the many favourites. Now, people will say, who's your favourite? We had this conversation this morning. It's really, really hard. Sometimes I'm like, it's absolutely Gregory Isaacs, and I did have a thing about Gregory Isaacs, but then there's so many others, but I do love Morgan Heritage. And so we're going to start with some Morgan Heritage today, and I hope you enjoy. Biggie, do you have a favourite artist?
There's too many to have a favourite. I've got a handful of artists that you can start with from the different genres, be it ragga, not bashment, reggae, be it roots culture, lovers rock. There's too many. I'm not going to choose a favourite artist. There's too many, because I listen to too much different reggae music.
Sorry, E, I was trying to play my Morgan Heritage. I can see it play, but I can't hear it, so I'm not sure what's happening there. What have I missed off?
Check the album in the speaker.
Okay, let's see. I can't hear anything. Oh. Can you hear it, Ola? Can you hear it? Oh, yeah. It's coming through.
Time again, ooh, she's still loving me, and I can't deny. Oh no, 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 no. Since she's been in my life, everything's been going fine, and I proudly to the world, yeah. She's mine, one and only. I ain't going nowhere. I ain't gonna leave my lady. Oh no, no, she's mine, one and only. I ain't going nowhere. I ain't gonna leave my lady. 'Cause she's truly mine, and most of what she does makes me feel so good inside. Tell the Lord inside, and I said, oh, she's the right one for me. He made no mistake, and I say this with no apology. Gramps, won't you sing about your lady?
She's still loving me, yeah. Through all the trials and gains, yeah. For I played around, still yet she held it down. Yes, she did. She's still loving me, even though I made her cry. Oh, caused her many sleepless nights. Oh, and I had to make it right. Oh, she's mine,
One and only. I ain't going nowhere. I ain't gonna leave my lady. No, no, no. She's mine, one and only. I ain't going nowhere. I ain't gonna leave my lady. 'Cause she's truly mine. Most of what she does makes me feel so good inside. Oh, oh, oh. Someone tell the Lord for me, He made no mistake, and I tell the world there's no apology. Hey, hey, hey.
oh,
The Let's Talk Show with Blaze and Big E. Join us.
Chalk Hill Community Radio. Check out our website for the latest news and review. We are always looking for new presenters. If you're interested, please contact Chalk Hill Community Radio at gmail.com.
Okie dokie. So, guys, now it's time to kick off our first interview. So, our first interview is with someone that I met some years ago now. She'll have to remind me how long ago it was. But we met at one of the Million Market events that I host along with Charm Miller. And we've had some conversations since that, and I've seen some of the work that she does. And so I thought it'd be a special guest today. So I'd now like you to help me to warmly welcome Marcia Makeba. Is it Makeba or is it Makeba? Makeba. And Marcia's here to talk to us about all things health, really, but also not just about all things health, like how you feel. She's got some really wonderful things for those of you that are tuned in via YouTube. Some wonderful things she's brought with her, and I'm going to get her to have a conversation with us about all of those. So, Marcia, good morning and welcome to the Let's Talk Show Live.
Hi, thank you for having me here.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Good, thank you. I hope your journey into London was okay, and I appreciate you taking the time because I love face-to-face interviews and I love the energy, and I think we're going to be talking about some energies today.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Marcia, tell us a little bit about your background. What is your cultural heritage?
I am Afro-Caribbean. I consider myself to be Afro-Caribbean. I was born in Jamaica, so I identify as Afro-Caribbean.
Lovely. What was life like in Jamaica?
Oh my gosh. So thankfully I lived there until I was 18. So I was privileged to have good grounding. And I'm so pleased that I didn't come here at an early age. I lived until there as 18. So I was born and grew up in Kingston, went to school, went to Sunday school, went to church. I was exposed to lots of people who were in positions. So I'm used to seeing people who are politicians or, people who look like me who are in positions that I could aspire to, basically.
Love that. The other thing about being in the Caribbean is how we take care of our health. What is your memory of kind of things that maybe your parents, your grandparents, or whoever your carers were? What's your experience about when you didn't feel well or when they didn't feel well?
Okay, well, I'm glad you asked that because I was thinking about that recently and how I was brought up. I was brought up with my grandmother. I lived most of my life with my grandmother until I left Jamaica when I was 18. And so being brought up with your grandmother, is all about bush tea and rubbing you down with what's that thing that she used to rub you down with?
Is it Alcalado or something like that?
I can't remember. Not Limacol. There's another one that she used to rub you. If you
Bay rum.
That's it. Yeah. So if you have a fever, she would rub you down with bear rum, or if you can't go to the toilet, you drink herbs and But it was all about bush tea. And the thing about bush tea, I was thinking about the other day is, I was thinking about the things that your mother, your grandmother used to get you to do, but you did want to do. I know we are doing it.
Yeah.
Because now I don't drink anything else apart from, your cerasee tea, mint tea, soursop leaf tea, all those teas now I drink now because of the benefits, and, didn't realize at the time that what the things that they used to drink and eat was of benefit to the body.
So did you kind of fall out of bad habits? Because, you know, all of those things that our parents gave us, at least 90% of them did not taste good, right? So we took them because that's what we had to do. And then some of us, when we got older, we kind of fell out of, you know, the way that we were raised, and we started buying food from different places, like fast foods and that kind of thing, and not taking those herbal remedies on a regular basis. So did you kind of fall out and you've fallen back in?
Well, to be honest, when I was growing up in Jamaica, the kind of tea that we drank growing up is things like Ovaltine, Milo and Horlicks, and then occasionally you get the chocolate. You know, the chocolate that you make, or the cocoa, but the chocolate that you boil and drink. So you could drink that. Or mint tea, or you know, all those kind of teas. That's what you drank.
So they were nice.
Yeah. When I came here and I found that everybody drank tea, and there was green tea as well. I found that everybody either drank tea or coffee. Now, coffee is not something I've ever drank in Jamaica, or tea. So when I came here and people said, "Oh, do you want a cup of tea?" and I said, "No, thanks," because I didn't drink tea.
Yeah.
So I've never drank tea. I've never drank coffee. I love the smell of coffee, but I always used to just drink cold juices.
Because in Jamaica they have Blue Mountain and Blue Mountain coffee, don't they? And that's the place that people visit.
Yeah, but I've never drank. I've never drank tea or coffee, ever.
I tried to get to the top of that mountain. They had to abandon the trip.
I went there once.
They had to abandon the trip and bring me back down. The higher up I got, the nearer I felt to the edge, and the more I couldn't breathe. So sorry, guys, you missed out on that.
It's
the whole
lovely up
minibus,
there.
we all had to come back down.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hear it's very nice up there.
Yeah, I went up there once with a church. We used to go to Carmel, so yeah, it's lovely up there.
So you were fortunate enough to be raised with your grandmother. You know, you did have Ovaltine, and you didn't just have tea that didn't taste nice, or all of those things. And also, when I think about bay rum, when my parents used bay rum, but you know, after you had it, I used to feel better, almost as soon. You used to have it. Talk about bay rum for you.
No, you did. You did. As you said, for headaches and stuff like that, they used to say, just put some, you know, just tap some bay rum in your forehead. But you surprisingly felt better. And as much as the stuff that they're using, we're starting to use now, don't get it twisted. It still tastes the way it tastes, but it's up to you to, you know what I mean, modify that and, you know, make it taste how you want it to taste.
Do you know what I used to do? Just to get the beer I'm rubbing down, I used to pretend to be sick.
Because it's a nice feeling,
I
isn't
used
it?
to pretend to be sick because that was the only time I would be spoken to calmly and gently. That was the only time there would be any touching and feeling. So I would pretend to be sick, and I would get the rub down with the beer rum.
Interesting. That's interesting. Something I've never really thought about, because in order to receive that, there is some levels of attention, right?
Exactly.
And maybe even sometimes
and touching.
Yeah, sometimes
because they didn't touch you. They didn't touch you apart from when you were sick and they're rubbing you down, did they? Especially that generation.
I like that. That's a good angle. I like that. And now I'm thinking about it. I think bay rum could be used for menopause, because you know when you. Well, I'll tell you. But when you feel really hot, sometimes you are just so hot.
Yeah.
But the use of something cool, I must try and get some bay rum actually. I think that might cool you down.
I'm sure it might.
Because you get this intense heat and you just want an immediate response. And so short of, you know, running outside in the garden, which is something that I adopted quite often, to be cool, or wanting to just throw myself in the enamel bath with no water, I think I might try out some bay rum. Let's try that and I'll report back.
Yeah.
But you came to the UK at 18, and so you had the great benefits of that wonderful life in Jamaica, even if you only had the contact when you got the rubbing down with the bay rum. You had a good story to tell. So you came here at 18. What were you doing when you came here at 18?
So I came here, and my mother said, what do you want to do? So I said, well, I wanted to be a secretary because the people that were around me as I grew up in Jamaica, my Sunday school teacher, for example, was a secretary. So I said, without even thinking of what I really wanted to do, what I was really good at, which was hair, I just said I wanted to be a secretary. So I went to college, I did a secretarial course, and I became a secretary. And then after that, I worked for BT for about 8 years as a secretary in London. And then after that, I started working for various educational institutions. And I really loved that because it was supporting students, like undergraduate and
Yeah.
postgraduate students. So it was supporting them, admissions, exams, coursework, all of that. So I did that for a number of years until I had my daughter, and then I started working part-time, and I worked for the local government, and then the NHS, and so that's kind of where I went. And then alongside that, I've always gravitated towards doing things that I liked, selling clothes, selling various products, hair, food, and then I kind of gravitated.
So were you doing all of that? What when you had your daughter, you were doing some of the stuff that you liked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I had my daughter, I worked for a company called Studio D, Pippity, and so that was selling clothes in people's homes. So that I did that for about 10 years,
Oh,
and
wow.
I love that. I love fashion. So yeah. So and then I kind of gravitated towards the health and wellness products.
Can I ask you
yeah.
before we go there though? You said you were doing some work with the NHS. What was your health like generally?
Well, okay. So as I was growing up, the thing that bothered me as a child was I had tonsillitis. I grew up having tonsillitis. My tonsils was always swelling, and so that was the main thing that troubled me as a child. And then I had it out when I came here. Actually, I had my tonsils out.
I think they're not doing that anymore. There used to be a thing that
and
they did. I think they're not doing it
I was
now.
about 20 when I had it out. Yeah.
Ooh.
So that was about 2 years after I came here. But generally, I didn't have any issues back then, really, until I got a bit older. So I got.
So you had relatively good health apart from the reoccurrence of tonsillitis, which you then had removed when you were about 20. Because some people were saying to me, well, I've had my tonsils out, but I still think I've got tonsillitis, or I still have pain in the same area. So I don't know. I can't confirm about whether they're still taking it out or not. But I know that was the thing. They would remove your tonsils to stop the regular occurrence.
Yeah.
So you were well relatively until some time later.
Yeah.
You were diagnosed with osteoarthritis.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that.
So
Can we just bring you back to the mic?
yeah, sorry. Yeah. So arthritis runs in my family. My grandmother had it. My mother had it. She died 3.5 years ago. And then in 2000 what year was I?
Was it 2009? Did you say?
Yes,
2009.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. 2009. I was experiencing a lot of pain in my knee, and saw my doctor, and then was told that you've got arthritis, and it's really bad.
Was it just in that one knee?
It was really bad in my right knee. So then I thought, oh my gosh, I immediately imagined myself to be walking with a stick and being like my grandmother, and then I was diagnosed these tablets, which I've only ever taken 2. So of course he advised me that exercise is good, and so I've always been to the gym. I've always active, so I always went to the gym. I always used to run and all of that. So yeah, so I was feeling a bit down, thinking that's it for me, basically. I'm going to be
With a
immobile.
stick.
Yeah. And so I just continued what I was doing, and was living with my mother at the time. My mother lived with me, sorry. And so in 2019, a friend of mine who's been using this product for a while. In fact, I knew she was using it, but I just ignored it, basically, and thought.
But just before you go to the product, what sorts of things did I know the diagnosis made you think psychologically about how you're going to end up, and so that was not a great feeling. But what were some of the things that it prevented you from doing, if anything?
Okay, yeah, there was a lot actually. So basically, it was painful. If I sat down for any length of time and got up, it was painful. Climbing the stairs was difficult. It was just really painful, and finding it difficult to walk sometimes, difficult to climb the stairs, but just pain was the main thing.
Because interesting thing, you mentioned about when you sat down for any period of time, that it was worse when you got up, right?
Yeah.
Because what happens is, in my experience, when you say to people that you've got arthritis, they say things like, oh, you really need to rest. But what they don't know, and they're not aware of most often, is that when you do have long periods of rest, the pain
It's
is
worse.
serious.
It's worse.
It's serious. So we're not saying that you shouldn't rest, but people quite rightly, they're trying to be helpful and they say, "Oh, you should rest." But I just want to say to people, for information, for those of you who don't suffer with arthritis, it is the kind of thing that, like, maybe a full night's sleep, when you wake up, it's going to be difficult. If you've been sat down for any period of time, it is going to be difficult. It is going to be painful. But then, I guess, are you torn between the activities that you were doing? Because actually, that's painful too, right? So how much rest do you have? How much activity do you do? How do you find a balance?
What you mean now or back then?
Back then, when you were going through it.
Well, the thing is, you talk about rest. You need to be active. I find that the more active you are, the less pain it is. Well, the pain is reduced, but the longer you are inactive, the worse it is. I mean, even back at the time, when I got up in the morning, having not doing anything for 8 hours that you sleep, you wake up in the morning. That was that was quite painful.
Yeah.
And I was limping, but after you wake up in the morning and you start to move about, then it's okay. So for me, from then and even now, my advice to anybody would be just keep active. Just keep active. Keep active. Because basically, as they say, if you don't use it, you lose it, and you get seized up. You'll seize up.
Do you have knee pain? Not that I'm talking your business on the show.
What, knee pain? I had an operation on my knee about 2 years ago, which I had a torn meniscus. But to be honest, since I've started doing a little bit more, let's say, leg exercises like climbing the stairs every day and stuff like that, I think gradually it has subsided. Yeah, it's there, but it's not dominant. And also as well, some of the exercise that I do, a lot of squats and other stuff that's involved in there, it does really help. Subdue the pain a lot. But I don't actually walk with pain.
Yeah. And having had my mother living with me for a number of years, and I've seen her deterioration. It's a fact. I've seen it so many times. And those generation, you can't ask them to move, right? Yeah. And I've seen, the fact is, when you don't move, you don't move, you get stiffer, you get more immobile. And I've seen lots of people in their 80s and whatever, and they're active. And it's even when you think about things, people like Bruce Forsyth or Lionel Blair, they lived. They were dancing. They were dancing for a long time. So it just proves to me that no matter if you're in pain, and my mother's generation, because they were in pain, you couldn't tell them to move, you couldn't ask them to move, because all they were thinking of the pain. But I know I'm in pain, but I know that if I don't move, it's going to be worse. So it's psychological. You just have to, even if you're in pain, you have to keep moving, because if you don't, you're going to become immobile. Yeah,
I thought that was important to say, because that often is the best advice. I'm surprised that you can even do squats with a bad knee, so I don't know.
Yeah,
obviously not
I can as well.
Can you do squats as well?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
that looks like 1 week I'm going to come on the show and say, when was the last time you did something for the first time? I did a couple of squats.
And you know why women can do squats? Because when they go to certain places, they don't sit on the thing; they squat.
Yeah. But my squat is reduced. It has to be a dab hand at that. You just squat, you're up, and you're gone. So being in pain has made it more difficult. So my first guest today, if you've just joined us, is Marcia Makeba, and she's talking about her life in Jamaica with her wonderful grandmother and all of the great teas that she drank, and then arriving here in the UK at 18, having her tonsils removed by the time she was 20, but otherwise she was of good health until 2009, when she unfortunately was diagnosed with osteoarthritis, which is something that runs in her family. Marcia had seen both her mother and her grandmother in excruciating pain, and I guess Marcia was determined to not end up with a walking stick. She looks absolutely wonderful today, so you can see why, unless she had a really bougie a walking stick, she wouldn't really want to have that. But then she met or had a conversation with somebody who was using something, and Marcia's going to tell us about that now. What was your friend using that you knew about but didn't really pay much attention to?
Okay, so she was using magnets. or magnetic therapy, and she had been using it for about 2 years. I even had an event with her. I invited her to the event. She came, and she was singing blazes about this product, which I kind of ignored, like you do, until.
Is it because do you think it's because you thought you didn't need it, so that doesn't really apply to you? Because sometimes we see things and we don't think it applies to us.
You know what? I don't even know what I thought, but I don't really know what I thought. And I was acting like a lot of people act to me now when but I just wasn't interested. I didn't understand it for a start, and then it came a time when the pain that my mother was experiencing, whatever she tried didn't work. And then after a while I thought, you know what, let me just try it. So that's how I got, because I knew she was using this product. She'd always talked about it. And then after a while I just thought, you know what, let me just try this product on my mother. So I got this product from her.
Can you share what that is, because people listening can't see?
This looks like a brooch, but it's actually a magnet. The cover is on the top, and the actual magnet is underneath. So I got these magnets, a smaller version to this, 2 of them, because at the time her legs was actually really badly swollen. She was in a lot of pain. So I got 2. I put 1 each on her inside her socks, and then the cover on the outside. And then to my amazement, and by this time she couldn't wear her shoes, her normal shoes.
Wow.
She was a size 7, so she had to wear a size 9. So anyway, I put these 2
And was that due to the swelling?
And the pain, yeah. And so got these 2 magnets, put it inside of her socks on a Friday, and to my amazement, by the Sunday, and incidentally, you couldn't touch her legs because she was in such pain. And by the Sunday, the swelling had gone down. I could actually touch her legs, and she wasn't wincing like she normally does.
And was she wearing them all day?
Yeah.
And sleeping with them, or taking sleeping with them?
Yeah, because you can wear this 24/7. So when I saw that, I was absolutely amazed. So having seen that now, I thought, you know what, if she can experience this reduced swelling and reduced pain, and then I'm going to use it for myself. So that's how I started. And
that's quite a quick turnaround, isn't it? Sort of like 48 hours. That's a quick turnaround.
And it doesn't always happen that fast for everybody.
Yeah.
But it does for some people. So that's what got me into using the magnets, really. In 2017 is when I started to use it.
Wow. I guess that's amazing in that, we know that we are often given medication for one thing that then kicks off something else, or you're taking the medication and you don't see any difference, but you're taking it with the hope that there's going to be a change. And then here are these 2 magnets that you simply placed in her socks, and in 2 days there was the difference. And so you'd bought one for yourself. Where were you wearing yours?
So I went back to Faye, who introduced me to the product, and I said, "Oh, Faye, this is what's happened." Of course, she wasn't surprised because she's doing it for a while. So she knows, like I do now. She experienced people coming back and saying, and that's one of the good things about it. So what did I get? So what I did was I hosted a wellness party, and she came around. Back in the days, this is before Zoom. She came around. I invited some friends. So I think I had some bracelets, and I definitely had this because this is one of our bestsellers. And started wearing the product. And then in my case, it wasn't as quick. It was I would say about 2 months before I saw and experienced the difference. So I remember at that time I used to wake up in the mornings and I was in a lot of pain. And then after I'd been wearing it for a while, I jumped up one morning and I jumped out of bed and I wasn't limping. And then I thought, I'm not limping.
It's funny that, isn't it? Because for those people that have chronic pain, when you live with pain every day, all day, you kind of forget what it's like to not be in pain. So when you're not in pain, it is actually a surprised feeling, right? Like a feeling of shock, or you can make a move that ordinarily you couldn't make.
It was a nice surprise, and then I realized what was happening. And then I thought, you know what, this is something that lots of people could benefit from. Because if you think about it, if you go into a room full of people, 9 out of 10 times that half those people in that room are affected by something. You know, most of us, it doesn't matter what age you are, it doesn't matter what race you are, there's something, there's
So it's not
headaches.
it's not an if, it's a what, isn't it?
Yeah, there's diabetes, so many people suffer from back pain or knee pain. There's fibromyalgia, there's so many things that most of us are affected by. And so I thought, you know what, being someone who are passionate about or have become passionate about using natural remedy, I thought, you know, this is something that I would like to share with other people. And so that journey started in 2017 of my mother and then me, and then sharing it with so many people. I've got so many positive feedback from people who have had different conditions, and some people who have been very skeptical, that's been converted. You know, I remember there was a lady who was my chiropodist, and she was probably in her 70s, and she had a problem with her finger, and I was telling her about the product. So you could tell that she wasn't interested. So not interested. So one day I was driving past her house, and I dropped the catalogue, and I think I dropped a bracelet for her to just try out. And within 2 weeks, she rang me back and said, Marcia, I want another bracelet. And this is somebody who just didn't want to know. And so there are lots of people who are very skeptical, who, like, maybe I was a bit skeptical, didn't really understand how it works, and who now are using the product for whatever condition they have, and it's helping them.
I think it's fair to say there are a couple of things, and this isn't really about me being bougie, but some of the items that Marcia's wearing, for those of you that can't see, would match very well with all of the other silver bits that I wear, and people probably wouldn't even know that it's for health benefits. They'll just think it's me wearing some more jewelry. But actually it does look good. Exactly. And actually what's nice about that, in reality, there are some things, right, that when you have a disability or a condition that you need to wear or have, that's going to aid your wellness. But some of them are ugly in design. And I think we should give some thought to that, because if you're already going through something, physically you're not feeling great, emotionally not feeling so fantastic either, and then you have to wear some booger or some stockings that's not your skin color or all of those kind of things. And so this just makes it nice and personal. And yeah, I like that. I don't know what you think. I don't know if you've seen anything that you would wear necessarily, but
well, the bracelet I've got on now, which is copper and magnet. So I've been in the magnet and copper stuff for years now. I've even got copper jugs at home that I pour my tea and I drink from it. So the actual magnet stuff itself, yeah, I've been looking into it for a long time. But now Marcia's come and prove that the pudding's there, it works. And this is what you need. You need people trying stuff, so you come and say, listen, I've tried that, it works for me, have a go at it, and see what it does for you. And that's the only way we learn.
Yeah.
So guys, if you want to hear some more about the product, if you want to contact the show to ask any questions to Marcia, it's 07956 548 781. That's 07956 548 781. Please send a WhatsApp or a text message, and ask Big E to check to see if anyone's messaging in on the live stream on YouTube. But Marcia was talking about the transformation of her mother's health, first of all, when she placed 2 of these magnets in her mother's socks, and reduced swelling was the product within like 48 hours. Marcia said, of course, some of us are going to be skeptical, because I guess that's what you do. But Marcia is here to say that it works. So what are the different formats that it comes in? So you had the brooch that you're wearing now.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Tell us about some of the products.
So essentially, if you think of jewelry, we do a whole range of jewelry, from rings to earrings to bracelets to pendants to necklaces to ankle bracelets, on the jewelry side. On the accessory side, we do lots of different accessories, from the shoe insoles to the massage magnet, which is one of my favorite. We also do, what else? So of course we do the coasters, the water coasters. And what is important?
Water coasters.
Yeah. What I need to explain actually, it's not just about wearing the jewelry. What is important to understand is what's incorporated in these jewelry and accessories, right? So what's in them? What is the impact of why they work? Why they work is because they have a very strong magnet called neodymium magnet. Now, neodymium magnet is quite powerful, and the impact of it when you put it on your skin is that it reacts to the red blood cells, the hemoglobin. So the impact of wearing the magnet is that it stimulates increased blood flow and increased oxygen. When you have increased blood flow, you also have increased oxygen. So that is actually what is working. And it took me a while to understand how it works because I'm not medically trained. But if you're medically trained and you understand about blood, poor circulation as opposed to improved circulation. Poor circulation equals pain. It equals inflammation. It equals swelling. So the opposite of that is
to reduce
pain, reduce swelling, reduce inflammation, but also even things like tingling. It helps. It reduces tingling. It helps with stress and fatigue and all of that. There's a whole load of health issues, which from fibromyalgia to ADHD, any type of pain. Diabetes. There's a whole load of issues, and I forgot my list.
That's okay.
But effectively, it's the magnet that's incorporated in all of the jewelry and accessories that is going to impact on your body when you wear it, or you sit on it, whether you sit on the bed mat or you wear the insoles, or it comes into contact with your body. But the water coasters is a slightly different way.
Yeah, because I was going to ask how does that. Okay, so we'll come to that. I mean, I feel like I need a pair of insoles, a necklace, a bracelet. I need all of everything. I need a whole suit. I need all of everything, like on a serious level. So I will be, I'll be leaving with something today if there's something to sell. Do talk to us. So I understand the magnets and the sole. The shoe, what they call again, insoles,
shoe
and
insoles,
wearing things against your body.
Yeah.
But talk to us about how the coaster works.
Good. Yeah. This is one of my favorite products, right? Apart from this, the water coasters and the water sticks is one of my favorite products because it's about. So these are designed to magnetize your water. Now we all know that water is so important. It's important for a number of things, and most of us don't drink enough water. I was one of those people who didn't drink a lot of water.
Yeah, for sure.
So these are designed to encourage us to drink water. Now, is there a cup? There's a cup here. So the idea about the water coasters is that they work in a completely different way to what you put on your body. So the idea with the coasters is that they're all magnetized. They've got magnets in them. So we have the silicone water coasters, we have the stainless steel water coasters, and we have the water stick. So this is the magnet here. So the idea is for us to drink more water. So you get your glass of water, your bottle of water, any kind of, whether it's bottle or plastic or whatever. You sit it on the coaster, and the magnet, ideally, this is not really good because it's not really
paper,
that flat.
yeah.
No, it's not that. It's just not flat.
Okay.
So it needs to be flat enough to.
So any container.
Yeah, and as long as it's flat enough to pick up the magnet, and what it does, it increases the water molecule, right? So that the water molecules are increased by 1,000,000-fold, and when you drink the water, it gets into your system much faster. It breaks down the pH balance as well. It tastes better. This is what really appealed to me, because. Like I say, a lot of us don't drink water. It's like anything else. If you don't like the taste of anything, you're not going to eat it, you're not going to drink it. But if you like the taste of it, then you'll drink more of it. And
so you're saying it improves the taste as well?
Yeah, I find that if you want to it improves the taste. So 15 seconds of a glass of water sitting on the coaster, or if you insert it and you just stir 15 seconds, it changes the structure of the water. And so for me, it tastes so much better. Like I said, it breaks down the pH level. It increases the water molecules, so it gets into your system much faster. And so things like I had a list there. Sorry.
That's okay.
There's a whole list of things that it's good for. We're talking about lime scale, for example. Breaks if you pour magnetized water in your kettle, it reduces the lime scale. It doesn't get rid of it completely.
Yeah, but it reduces it.
Acid reflux is one thing it's good for. I'm gonna have to look up my list.
So basically, once you're doing that, you have a magnet stick and you have a magnetized coaster.
Yeah.
You pour the water into your glass, for example,
Yeah.
and you then use the stick to
Right. So
stir. Is that how it works?
the way of magnetizing your water is two ways. Either you sit the glass or the bottle on the coaster,
Yeah.
and it magnetizes it automatically within 15 seconds.
Wow.
So 15 seconds is all you need to sit for your glass or your bottle to sit on the coaster, and it magnetizes it. If you prefer, depending on what you prefer, I mean, for some people it might be easier to carry this around with you because it's easier to just put in one of these things and you take it around with you. So if you use a stick, this is a magnet. So you simply insert the magnet into your drink, whatever, your water. And by the way, you can magnetize anything, right?
Yeah.
Because what I do, if I'm drinking any juices, I magnetize it because, again, it tastes so much better. So you insert the stick into the whatever you're drinking, whether it's tea or coffee as well. You stir for 15 seconds, and the structure of that drink or that water changes. And so it tastes much better, especially things like fizzy drinks or coffee. And they say even wine or alcohol, you can magnetize literally anything, soups, porridge. And so you change the structure of whatever you're drinking so that, but for water, it's particularly, which is what most of us need, what the body needs.
Yeah. What are these? I know people got some, there's some small round tablet-like things.
Okay.
What are those?
Yes, so these are the silicone coasters. This is the stainless steel. This is a stick. So these are, this is why I love the versatility of these products. So these are water magnets. Now, with water magnets, it works slightly different. You don't put it in your water. You you put it in. Say for example, you've come home. You've been out all day. You come home and you're really exhausted. You had a really stressful day. You run your bath. No, people don't have baths anymore. But let's say you have a
Some
sports
do.
bath.
Some do.
You run your bath. You drop one or two of these in the bath,
Yeah.
and you jump in, and you will have a nice, relaxing, magnetized bath, which means you're going to be more rejuvenated. You're more refreshed. So that's what this does. But what else does it do? Let's say you have your flowers that you buy from the flower shop, fresh cut flowers.
Yeah.
You get it home. You put it in the water. How long does it normally last on average?
A couple of days.
Okay, right. You drop one of these in the vase, and you'll find, and I've proved this, you find that it would last up to 6 weeks, right? And another thing that you can do with this that I did recently, I buy a lot of carrots, and when you buy carrots, within 3 days they get brown.
I know.
They get brown, right?
And soft.
Exactly, right. And I've done the experiment. I can show you. I've got the video to prove it. If you have a vase, you put your carrots in the vase, put water in it, put one of these in it, and it will last you up to 6 weeks. I've proved.
The carrots.
Yeah,
And they won't start sprouting.
No. And it remains fresh. It remains fresh looking and firm, and you can cook it and use it. So that's how you can use this.
I mean, there are some amazing options there, and all of them sound like everyone should have at least one of those in their home. What stands out for you, E, if any?
I'm kind of like, you just need magnet in your life right now. You know what I mean? Because I think, as Marsha said, it's not just about the magnets; it's the technology behind the actual, you know what I mean, items.
So versatile. I mean, they're so versatile. And like, for example, let's say you have fibromyalgia, you have a backache, or you have a headache, or have a pain in your knee. The beauty about this particular product.
Can you just describe it? Because some people are just
okay. So it looks like a brooch. It looks like a brooch. I'm going to take it off and show you. It looks like a brooch. The beauty about this is that you can wear this on any part of your body. All you need, like I was wearing it here. Let's say you have a pain in your arm. So this is the base, which nobody will see. So this is the magnet, and also you can see it's copper. It's a copper base, so you know copper is good for, right? So let's say you have a pain in your arm, or you're just feeling fatigued, because a lot of people feel fatigued and tired, and this is one of the benefits as well. So basically, what you need to do is just put this, as long as this is touching your skin, wherever you want to wear it, whether it's on your knee or your back or wherever, this needs to be touching your skin, right? and so it's there. You can't see it, and then the cover.
So sorry, just for those that can't see, is it the copper that's touching your skin or the
Yeah, it's a
magnet?
copper.
Yeah, the
The
copper.
copper.
Well, the magnet is in the copper.
Okay.
And so as long as that's touching your skin, wherever you want to wear it, you can put it there, and then you have the cover, which you place on the outside of your dress or your blouse or your bra or your tights or whatever, that will hold it in place. And it will hold it in place, and even if you if I take this jumper off now, it will stay on there.
Right.
So one of the thing about this particular product is versatile. Yes, it's strong, and actually another thing I need to mention as well. The strength of the magnet is measured by what we call gauss. You know, in the same way that gold is measured by carat. You know, you have 9, 18, 22. So we have different strengths. So this is 2,200. So it's the strongest magnet. So versatile. But I was going to say something else. So yeah, so you can wear this anywhere. And so it will stay on your clothes unless you physically take it off when you take your clothes off.
Can I talk to you about something now? I can't fully remember what it was called, but there was a magnet that women used to wear in their underwear when they were going through menopause.
Yeah,
And
boots,
and I know that one of the things that you mentioned was how magnets had helped you through your menopause. Can you talk to us about that?
Well, actually, yeah, it seems such a long time ago now.
I was going to say good for you
Yeah,
because
when I first started using the magnets, one of the experiences I used to have was intense heat. Intense heat. What else did I experience? I didn't sweat, but just intense heat.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think if I experienced anything else. That's all I can remember, really. I remember wanting to just strip off.
Yeah,
because the heat in my body was just so much, and that hasn't happened since I started wearing the magnets. The magnet you're talking about, I think Boots used to do it. It used to call. It was huge. What was it called? Lady something? I can't remember. But
lady magnet or lady something.
Yeah. But yeah. So the beauty about this is you can wear this. I mean, I've had customers who've worn this for menopause, sweating, fatigued, mood swings, and all of that. So the magnet has a lot of health functions, and I can get my list out and just to run through a few.
Okay.
Have you got the list there?
No.
Yeah. Let me.
But whilst you're doing that, which is fine, you can have a look at. I'm just going to read a question, so take your time and find that.
Yeah.
So we've got a question from one of the listeners, and they're saying, would these magnets be beneficial for someone who has diabetes and arthritis? And also, do these magnets have any side effects on the medication that people are taking?
Okay, what was the first question?
So the first one was, would these magnets be beneficial for someone who has diabetes and arthritis?
Okay, so arthritis is the symptoms of arthritis is basically pain, swelling, and stiffness. So definitely, that's what I've been using it for, and I've experienced a lot of my customers who have had various issues to do with pain and swelling. So definitely, because of effectively what the magnet is doing, like I said, it's stimulating increased blood flow, so it's releasing pain and swelling. So that's definitely diabetes.
Yeah.
Okay. So diabetes, which I was recently diagnosed to be pre-diabetic. One of the benefits of drinking magnetized water is that it makes the water less acidic and more alkaline.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to be drinking alkaline food, eating alkaline food or drinking alkaline water, that's one of the benefits, because it helps to get rid of toxins out of the body. If you drink magnetized water, and I had a customer who got one of these from me, and she was drinking lots and lots of magnetized water. And when she went back to be tested, she reported that the rate
was lower. Yeah.
So apart from hydrating you and the benefit of drinking water, that's one of the benefits as well. Definitely.
Fabulous. So you've answered the first question, and the other one was, do the magnets
side effects? Was it side effects?
have an impact on a medication?
Okay.
Have any side effects on medication?
So I'll talk about what the side effects are. The side effects are, if you're allergic to copper, then you can choose to try something that doesn't have copper. If you have a pacemaker, then you could wear you could still wear the magnets, but you're going to wear something from the waist down. So you could wear the ankle bracelet, you could wear the shoe insole,
Okay.
or you could wear the toe ring. This is actually a toe ring. This is designed to be worn on the toe. And of course, you can drink magnetized water. So, yeah, so pacemaker, no. If you're on medication, it's not going to have any impact on the medication. It's not going to stop the medication from working. If anything, it will enhance it. Because remember, the effects of magnetic therapy is that you're having increased blood flow, and increased blood flow is the opposite of swelling, inflammation, and pain. The other thing I just wanted to just briefly say as well is if you've never heard of magnetic therapy, because that's what this is, the best way to understand what magnetic therapy is to understand and to know that it's actually part of the family of holistic therapies. And so most people are familiar with massage therapy, physiotherapy, all those hundreds of other therapies.
Yeah.
This is part of the same family that uses something natural to manage physical or emotional or psychological issues.
Fabulous.
Without invasive methods.
So we're going to be going to our next guest soon, but we have a message from Sister Sheba who says Bayram, Lycamal, am I saying that right? Limacol, Alcalado, Tiger Balm, and Senna. Use it always on my children and grandchildren. She also says that she has osteospondylitis, fibromyalgia of the cervical, thyrotic, and lumbar spine, degenerative and debilitating, and she believes in magnets. Look how Sheba's got me lifting up all these big words. Magnets are very much needed, and she's so glad for today's show, and she wants to give thanks for your guest, and she believes in your knowledge, so it's a nice message for you.
Okay.
So thank you. Okay, so we're going to just start rounding up now. So is there something you were going to share with us, and then we're going to find out how people can get hold of you?
I will just list some of the benefits of that, the impact, the conditions that magnetic therapy can help. And so from ADHD to stress, anxiety, asthma, arthritis, back pain, hypotonic, depression, fatigue, diabetes, fibromyalgia, gout, menopausal issue, migraine, numbness definitely. I've got a patient, client who's got very bad numbness in his hand, plantar fasciitis, period pain, poor circulation, obviously RSI, sciatica, sleep disorders, lupus, etc. Yeah, so that's just some of the benefits, the condition that magnetic therapy can help. Just wanted to say that if you are interested in finding out more about the products and how they can help you, I do wellness presentations on Zoom. So if you wanted to have a wellness party, it's simply just a case of agreeing a date and time. You invite your friends. I do a presentation about the products. You have the benefits. I also do events, wellness events, or just events where I can promote my products. I'm going to be at the Hidden Science event in June. Most of us know about the Hidden Science event. I'm going to be there in June. I'm also going to be at the Hidden Science event in Birmingham on the 4th of April. Wow. If you want to go to the Hidden Science events in London on the 20th of June, it's on for 3 days. You can be there for the whole weekend or just a day. There is a discount code you can use, and when you go onto the link, you put in Magnetics 10. That's Magnetics 10, MAGNETIC, Magnetics and 10. Hit the apply, and you get £10 off for the event or for the weekend.
Nice. So listen, Master, you have been absolutely wonderful. E, have you got any comments before we round off and play Master's song choice?
Yeah, once again, information, and as they say, knowledge is key. So right now, looking at magnetic therapy, I'm going to definitely dig a little bit deeper into it. So yeah, brilliant.
Can I give you my Instagram page, which is being built?
Please do.
So my Instagram is, oh my gosh, Magnetics Marcia. Oh my gosh, I have to find it. Sorry, but yeah, but my number is 0777 3755
If you could just say that again one more time, but a bit slower.
0777 3755 My email address is trinityville@ntlworld.com. That's trinityville@ntlworld.com. My Instagram page is, oh my gosh, I don't even know it. Can you believe?
But if they put in
at at Marcia Magnetics.
Okay, so what we'll say, for those who caught some of the information or didn't get all of it, you can message us here on 07956 548 781. And we can make sure that we share that information. I could probably repost the information if you get that information to me, so that people that tuned into the show.
I've got it now.
Oh, you've got it.
Yeah, I've got it now. It's at
the magnets
Marcia
working.
Magnetics Therapy. That's at Marcia Magnetics Therapy. Magnetics is got at X at the end.
Yeah, so it's an X, not a C. So, Marcia, your song choice was a Jimmy Cliff Meeting in Africa. Why was that your song choice?
Well, as you know, he died recently,
Mm.
and I love Jimmy Cliff. Where I lived in Jamaica, in Rockford, he used to frequent my next door neighbor.
Mm.
He was checking girl next door. So, but you know what? Jimmy Cliff has so many songs.
Absolutely.
And I love his voice. I did go to see him about 6 years ago, and I just wanted to remember him because I love his voice.
Nice. So we're going to play out with Meeting in Africa, Jimmy Cliff. We're going to say a big thank you to Marcia McKeever. And guys, I'm going to be leaving with what I didn't come with today, actually, because there's some. Let me just see. What is this? What is that? Necklaces?
Oh yeah. So this is just another silicone necklace.
Okay.
We have it's magnetized, and I get a lot of people, mothers who have ADHD children, who buy one of these, the black one, because they can wear the black one to school.
Yeah.
So it's a choice of 7 colors, but obviously I've just put these 3 colors together because of what it represents.
Mm-hmm.
But the magnet is here, and so you can wear it for any of the conditions I mentioned.
Fabulous.
And these are hand bracelets. These are ankle bracelets. This is an ankle bracelet that I sell a lot of because so many people have issues with their knee, and wearing it on your ankle is going to impact your whole knee. This is a massage magnet, which is amazing. You can use it for personal or professional use, and I sleep with it beside my bed, and it's amazing. And I do give face.
Wow, that looks
face
good.
massage. Yeah,
So, guys, we're going to hear some more from Marcia. This won't be the last time you hear from her, but we are now going to play Meeting in Africa, and we'll be bringing Fiona Daly up next for her conversation.
Thank you very much. Thanks. So yeah.
Africa! Oh yeah, Africa, meeting in Africa. Oh yeah, Africa, meeting in Africa. Oh yeah, Africa.
Join us this Saturday, the 19th of December.
From J to Dakar, from LA to Lagos, London, Tokyo to Johannesburg. Oh yeah, Africa, meeting in Africa. Oh yeah, Africa, meeting in Africa. Oh yeah, Africa, meeting in Africa today. Love applies the vibration. Oh, what sweet motivation. No freeloaders will be there. And what the best for me
and Chalk Hill Community Radio Research Project is putting lived experiences on air. We're amplifying voices, uncovering truths, and ensuring research speaks to the realities of African and Caribbean communities. Be part of the conversation. Kodja Baden and Chalk Hill Community Radio, where research meets real life. Contact Blades on 07956 548
The C Word Project. It's more than just cancer. It's community care courage. And it's time for a conversation that reflects us. The C Word Project is here for you. A culturally rooted support network for African Caribbean individuals facing cancer. Because our stories, our voices, and our resilience deserves a space to be heard. Join the conversation. The C Word Project is where community heals. Contact Blaze on 07956 548 781.
So, welcome back to all of you that tuned into the first hour or first part of the show. A big shout go out to Marcia Makiba, who done a wonderful, enlightening job of talking to us about magnetics, even with an X at the end, so you know that it's amazing. And I'm already feeling better because I'm excited about trying all of the things. So when you guys see me doing hurdles, you know I'm back to my fit self. So E, we had a question or a comment on the live YouTube. David, thank you for messaging. E, do you want to just tell us what David said?
Yeah, David was saying that some people claim universal credit are disabled, so how are they expected to clean the streets? And you know what I mean? It's these government people who just don't want to help people. That's what they want to do. You know, stop people from claiming benefits.
Yeah, because actually, when I heard it, I just thought, who sat down and thought of that? There are so many things, right, that they need to do, like fix the holes in the road, right? The potholes. For those of us paying, council tax and road tax, we're constantly stuck in traffic lights. Our cars are going into potholes, and now they want us to do that and pick up the rubbish.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree, David. They're assuming, there's an assumption, I guess, or it sounds like that in that proposal. They're assuming that people who are on universal credit are just really sitting down doing nothing. And that it's been a choice of theirs, where it may not be a choice. And as you quite rightly pointed out, they may have a disability or a disadvantage that means that picking up rubbish is not going to be good for them. So some may say, why don't they pick up some rubbish when they're out knocking people's doors, canvassing? That might be something that someone says. Does it sound like I said that? Well, some may say that. I'm just putting that out there. That's a consideration. Some may say that when they're out. It might be something they might like to try.
When they come and knock your door, give them a black bag or something, you know?
Yeah.
So you go on your way.
Because they knock our doors and they want to know how we can how they can help us to make things better. Well, you can help us by picking up the rubbish that you're expecting me, or your government's expecting me to pick up because I'm unemployed.
Here's a little picker and a black bag.
How about that?
That's not a bad idea, Blake.
I think
It might take off.
I come up with some things, not as genius as magnetics though. But today's show is really about health, and we're continuing on the vein of good health. If you tune in, it's Charles's wellness show at 1:30. Today's quote is, "A bird doesn't sing because it has an answer. It sings because it has a song. It sings because it has a song." And I guess within that, what we're saying is that we don't have the answer actually to everything. But I think Marcia certainly demonstrated a song, because much of you who found that information enlightening will probably be singing along with me. Big shouts out to Sarah. Good morning to you. In fact, it's good morning to us no longer. It is now good afternoon, but good afternoon to you. And thank you for your good morning message. Okie dokie. So much of you will know that Kodja Baden and Chalk Hill have been doing a lot of work around health. And as we said, health in particular for, or specifically and unapologetically for, people of the African diaspora. because we know, we believe, and it is a fact that there are certain disproportions that are alarming, and there's so much that we need to do for a number of different health issues. But one of the health issues that we're tackling more so this year is that of sickle cell. And so my special guest today, Fiona Daly, is here to talk to us all about that. So Fiona, good afternoon. How you doing?
Good afternoon. I'm very well, thank you, and thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure, always a pleasure. So this isn't the first time that I've met Fiona. It's probably the first time that Big E's met her. But Fiona and I have been sharing space, is it since last year or year before?
Last year.
Last year. Fiona's got one of those quiet voices. We're going to have to get her to project. Maybe we need to give her a magnet to give her some energy, because I know that magnet works. So we've got Fiona with us today, and she's kindly travelled all the way down here to have this conversation. But we met on different platforms, and we'll be talking a bit more about how we met. But let's talk about your health. Let's talk about your background first of all, like kind of what's your cultural heritage, and then we'll move into what your health is like.
Out of many one, Jamaican. And I say out of many one because our culture is mixed with multiple cultures. So I grew up in Jamaica. I spent about 20 years of my life there.
Wow, nice.
I was raised pretty much like Marcia by my grandmother, as well as other family members. So lots of cousins, aunties, uncles, too many to count on one hand. But I'm thankful for the grandmother I had, because she was there every step of the way through my journey until about 14 years ago.
Nice.
Again, pretty much like Marcia, you name all the bush teas, I've had it. And I was diagnosed at 3. That's 3 years of torture, pain, back and forth at hospitals. No one knew what was going on until I got a referral by my doctor to go to a special unit at UWI, as they call it, or University of the West Indies. And I was referred to the hematology department there. My consultant was Dr. Sargent. God rest his soul, he passed away early last year. And he created one of the best platforms for sickle cell that circulated to a lot of the Caribbean countries, Brazil, India, and many other countries, for individuals to be able to identify the condition and how best to treat and advise families to help us.
So can I ask you, Fiona, thank you for sharing that. Can I ask you, is it that there wasn't anyone else in your family that was experiencing this, and was it that nobody really knew about sickle cell?
So there were 2 other members, but they were younger than me, and they passed away from other health conditions. And I've survived through the advice that was given to me. And my grandmother, she was the rock of our family. And at her age, she learned how best to manage the condition and taught me what I needed to know to be able to help myself. And my family now, when I'm ill, they know what to do. So I'm thankful to having the best grandmother in the whole world. I'm sorry, everybody will probably say that.
But you're right, though.
But she was
For
the
you.
best. And the person that understood that family needed to be there for each other.
That's amazing, because I think, first of all, that must have been quite a shock. Because if much people don't know about the condition, that's one thing. But then if you don't know about it, it's kind of then, okay, so now I know, what does it look like? They would have known for you that you'd been unwell for 3 years. They would also know that it's not something that will now go away. So it's how do they kind of take care of you? And you're saying that, your grandmother and your family, and still to this day, support you. And that is amazing, because we all need some support, whether we accept it or not, take it on or not, we all need support. And I think that support actually is also one of those healers. It's one of those healers that people don't really talk about. But I do think when you're receiving love and care and and attention, I also think that's a benefit. And in terms of understanding, myself and Marcy were talking earlier about people's lack of understanding of arthritis, and so they would simply say what you need to do is rest. But what as someone who suffers with arthritis or chronic pain will know differently. What did your family then find out about this condition? Okay, you were 3, so you know you wouldn't really know. But what sorts of information were they given? Were they given information, or was it, you know, your granddaughter has sickle cell and that's it?
So the advice that was given to my grandmother was, she has sickle cell. It's an inherited condition. It's where the hemoglobin are mutated, and it breaks down the cell, the blood cell that literally usually looks like to everybody else like a shape of a donut. And because of the mutation, it takes on a crescent shape, or as I would say, a C shape with pointy tips. Now, unfortunately, while it's breaking down, that causes the cell to become rigid. A lot of mucus is produced, and it gets very sticky, making it harder to go through the blood vessel. And then you have this cluster that's formed, and when that happens, and for me, your joints are affected. Think of it this way: it's trying to push a needle, a bigger needle, through a very coarse material. And the amount of pressure that you have to push to get the needle through can cause you to feel a bit of pain at the other end. That is a
I'm glad that you've done that, because I did have a definition which I'll just read. Sickle cell disease is a group of inherited blood disorders caused by a genetic mutation that creates abnormal, as you've explained, crescent-shaped red blood cells. And these rigid, sticky cells will block the blood vessels, causing severe pain, referred to as a crisis. Also anemia and damage to the vital organs like the heart, lungs and kidneys. Now, I'm glad you've kind of described that, because one of the things is, how do you talk to somebody about something they can't see? How do you talk to somebody about something they can't feel? How do you talk to somebody about something they don't know and they don't experience? And I think your description of the needle and the coarse material, and how you described the mutation of the cells, was really good. So if I said to you, when you're having a crisis, what would that look like to you, or what would it like to me? What would we know about that?
Okay, so a crisis for me is I can feel it coming on 3 days before, but that's because I've been managing it, or my family's been helping me to manage it, so we can see the signs. And the first thing that usually happens is that my body feel numb.
Okay, but kind of like all over, or in a particular area?
For me, the areas that it affects is from the waist down and in my arms. So if I'm unable to move, it's because of the numbness that's preventing that. So for 3 days, I'm feeling that. And then afterwards, I start to feel the pain. Now, a lot of people will say, oh yeah, but it's just pain. It's not just pain. This is the type of pain that makes you want to scream and lash out. But different individuals respond in different ways. I've always been the sort of person where I'm in pain, but you won't get me screaming. I would rather...
Is that because you don't need to scream, or you're managing the not screaming?
I think it's the way I was brought up, so managing the screaming. I've found that because my family knew what was happening, I didn't need to. They would see my facial expression, or they see me curl up into a ball, holding onto my knees as if I'm trying to squeeze the pain away. And then they'll know that I am having an episode. But the pain is worse than a toothache. Now, I've never had children, but for mothers who have the condition, they always say that even giving birth is not as painful as having a sickle cell episode. I've been to an event where somebody asked me, and I said, if you have really pointy nails, put that pressure of your nails onto someone and squeeze until it feels like you're about to take the skin off the person.
Mm.
Or if you have a blunt knife, imagine being stabbed with that slowly and pulling it out and stabbing you again over and over and over again. Now we know if something is sharp, you will feel the pain, but it will ease. But a blunt knife going into the skin will be harder. And that's how I explain to individuals.
How long would that pain, the worst pain, how long would that last
It's
for?
consistent. It doesn't stop unless it's treated with opioids. Now, at first you think paracetamol will help, but paracetamol doesn't even touch the surface of the pain that you're going through. So you need something stronger. And literally, the only thing I can take is morphine. Now, not everybody can take morphine. Some individuals have allergic reactions to it. So
will you take that orally or intravenously?
It depends. So if it's so bad where it affects my chest and I need oxygen, I have to go into the hospital and they'll put me onto a machine or they'll give me orally. But with the machine, you can administer that each time. Now, the pain doesn't go away for long periods, and the morphine I take usually lasts about 12 hours. The slow release. So it's every 12 hours that I have to take about 10 milligrams. Individuals take higher dosage of that. But as I manage over the years, I've learned to be able to reduce the amount of morphine that I take by substituting paracetamol in between, just to make sure that I'm not constantly feeling like someone's ripping my skin off or pulling out nails that they've used a staple gun out of my hand.
So paracetamol helps to manage it in between the kind of 12-hour span for the morphine. Does it help a little bit?
That's for me. For others, that may not work at all. So a PCA is the machine that they use when you're in hospital, and you usually get a dosage of morphine or dihydrocodeine or anything that is opioid based that works on the individual, that you can push the button and it injects it into your skin. Others, it's always making sure, but with opioids, there has to be a space between the dosages. Again, it depends on the amount, how much milligram of that you're being given. Others will have other conditions. Fibromyalgia was mentioned, but there are other health conditions which causes a lot of pain. So pain on top of pain, literally, it's
on top
too
of
much.
plenty.
Yes.
That sounds just hard to imagine, really, because although there are people that live with chronic illnesses and chronic pain, you don't have a choice really to try and manage it, as you've quite rightly said. But what I want to talk to you about is that you mentioned when it's more difficult, because I think from start to finish it's difficult. I think the level of anxiety that you will be experiencing, because you're saying 3 days before, in 3 days' time, this thing's going to be serious. Let me just ask you a question about that, actually. Is there anything you can do? So you're aware of the signs, and you know in 3 days' time it's going to be... Is there anything you can take in between that space to...
So you can start, if you have morphine at home, which I usually do, and most patients, they can request it in advance, because you don't really get morphine to keep at home. But if you have some from an episode that you had previously, then you can start taking a smaller dosage of that. Others will take anything that's codeine based as well, but I'm allergic to codeine, so I can't take that. Or you just contact your hematologist and say, I'm starting to have an episode, I can feel it coming on. But the problem is you don't get opioids over the counter. You have to speak to your GP, and some GPs don't prescribe some of these opioids, which means you have to speak to the hematology unit at the hospital that you go to and request these. And usually you can get it done on the day, but the problem is if you lose mobility and you don't have anyone to go and pick that up for you, that may present an issue. Some hospitals may have them delivered to your courier to you, but again, there's no guarantee.
Can I just ask you specifically about the loss of mobility? Is it because you're overcome with pain, or is it because the numbness now has presented the barrier to actually being able to walk? If you know the answer to that.
I don't know the full extent of what causes that, but usually when my mobility goes, I'm in so much pain. I can't crawl, I can't sit down, I can't stand. And what happens is my lower half of my body goes so weak, it literally feels like someone's pushed me down each time I try to get up. I have no strength in the lower half of my body to support myself to move. Thankfully, over the years, it's not been too bad, where I can literally crawl to go downstairs or upstairs when I call the ambulance. But the last incident is where literally I dropped the key through the door to get the ambulance service to let themselves into my apartment, which has worked several times. And it's easy for me. When you live alone, these are some of the things that you have to anticipate. Exactly.
Thank you for sharing that, Fiona. And the reason I'm doing the deep dive today is because I think that there are so many people that you know may have conditions that we've heard about for a long time, but we don't really know what that means. And there is nothing like a lived experience. So I can read that definition and I'll go, okay, that's that. But when I hear your story, it's clearer to me now what that definition, what does that look like in real time? E, for you, I just want to give you a moment to kind of respond to what you've heard from Fiona this afternoon.
What I wanted to ask, is there a trigger? Is there something that triggers your, is there something that if you, let's say, overwork or stressed or something like that does, just explain that.
Of course. And I didn't realize that stress was a trigger until 2019. But stress is a major trigger. The weather or the temperature, worse. So growing up in the Caribbean, I had the heat. And the heat can affect you as well as the cold. So you have to prevent certain situations by making sure you're wearing the right layers. Dehydration is a big factor, mainly because you need water, and I try to drink 3 liters of water a day, but that sometimes isn't necessary. When you're hydrated and you have no energy or you're suffering from fatigue, it makes it harder for you to get up to drink water, because then you have to get up and use the bathroom more frequently. There are other things that could trigger, like if you have other health conditions and you're trying to manage that as well as sickle cell, those are major triggers. But what is important is for you to understand what triggers you the most, and how you can best reduce it. I'm not saying it's easy, and what support you have around you to help you to manage that as best as you can.
I mean, because let's face it, no health condition is easy. You know what I mean? So that's what people's going to understand. And again, it's all about awareness and information, and that's exactly what you're providing here for a lot of the listeners. Because when you talk about an illness, everybody seems to think, oh yeah, you just got this or you just got that. But to do a deep dive, as Blaze said, you've got to understand what the person is going through. Because sometimes when I hear people talk about certain, I was like, yeah, you really don't know what these people are going through. So let's not just talk about it like it's so casual. It's just a casual thing, stuff like mental health. Like, no, don't talk about it like it's a casual thing. And our community, we have a tendency of doing that. Yeah, and that's sort of gets to me a little bit as well. You've got to look at what the people are going through.
Of course.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's really important. I mean, because I don't know if you were to ever be on Universal Credit, if you would be going out with the stick to collect the rubbish. You might want to talk to them about how ridiculous that would be. But thank you for sharing. That's really great. But the great thing about Fiona is that, I have joined this wonderful group, and I have to tell you, when you talk about dedication and commitment, when you talk about being able to be in a space where you're having conversations with people that are living in Tanzania, with people that are living in America, with people that are here in the UK. And every Wednesday at 11 o'clock, they are online, whatever time differences in America and Tanzania, they are all online talking about how they are going to make improvements to the lives, make improvements to policy, tackle inequalities. And they do this in a really steadfast way. I'm always overwhelmed by these meetings. And I was introduced to these meetings by Stephen Ockley and Suki, whose surname has left me today. Mystery, that's it, thank you. And of course Fiona was there, and Barbara, and everyone else that I've met. I mean, I think I need to just get to Tanzania is the other thing. I need to be out there. But they do some really wonderful work. So with all that Fiona has just described, she's the project coordinator for Sickle Cell Charter UK. Do you know, I didn't know what charter meant for a while, I was like, oh, charter, okay, cool. So tell everyone what the definition is of charter. Can you remember it off your head, because it's long?
So charter is coordination, health, advocacy, research, training in Africa. And we say training in Africa, but literally it's training everywhere.
It's great, but I love that we're doing it internationally. So talk to us about how you got involved in that as one of the many things you do. How did you get involved in that?
2 years ago, I attended a sickle cell training day that the Sickle Cell Society does for patients and carers. And I was introduced to Professor Julie Makani, who's working with Imperial College as well as Muhimbili University of Allied Science in Tanzania. But before I met her at that event, I was introduced to her by Dr. Linda Van Kiempena, who introduced me to Hammersmith and Fulham Council. Amazing people there. And they'd asked me if I wanted to be involved in their Building Trust project. So thank you to Hammersmith. It was a great experience. I really enjoyed it. And Julie invited me to attend one of their meetings. So I attended their meeting, thinking, oh, I'm just going to meet her for lunch. The next thing I know...
Well, like you physically met her? She was here?
Yes.
Or you was in Tanzania?
No. Oh, trust me, I would love to be in Tanzania. And she says, we're all welcome, by the way, Blaze. So whenever you're ready, just send her a message and say you're visiting. And I thought it was just going to be lunch. But the next thing you know, I'm sitting in a meeting and watching Mary Aditorino chair that meeting, and it was all about sickle cell and the work that they're doing. And before you know it, I'm then chairing these meetings. Julia has a way to convince you to be involved.
She's awesome.
Yes. And I have to say thank you to her. Up until about 3 years ago, I never really talked about my health condition to people who didn't know anything about it. And in the last 3 years, I've learned so much about sickle cell, the treatments that are coming out, the possibilities, that I'm happy to have stepped into that role.
Because I just want to say, it's not always an easy thing to talk to people, about something that they don't know, because then you have to really try and hope they're going to understand, and whether people are going to be empathetic or not. And sometimes you find, in the greatest will, if you have something wrong with your foot, people just become a foot doctor. They know what to tell you to do with your foot. If you have something with your hip, they suddenly, and we love them, but actually, I just need to say, from a patient's point of view, I understand the challenges, but I also think it's true though. Do you know?
No, that is so true. From the time you say, "Oh, I've got this," this is what you need to do. You know what I mean? Have you had it? No, but this is what you should do, and all the thing about it. And just to top that, I've got a message here. This is on the YouTube chat. Okay, so the name is Broken But Not Shattered. 8272. Yeah. That's my best and favorite cousin in the whole world.
Oh.
We grew up as sisters. We love you, Cuzfee.
Oh.
Cute.
Yeah, you probably know who that is. So, yeah, that's
Bless you.
their name there.
That's
Broken But
nice.
Not Shattered.
So thank you for your messages on YouTube, guys. We really appreciate that. So yeah, I understand the challenge, but I do thank you for your bravery to do that, because it's a brave thing to do, because then people know things about you that they otherwise wouldn't know by looking at you. So thank you for sharing. And yes, you've met Julie and the team, and I tell you, every single person that is on that board, I'm just in awe. I know I'm now part of that meeting, but I just always feel like I'm looking in at these amazing individuals. So thank you for all of you that have welcomed me to that. And you've explained nicely about your condition and how you got caught up in this wonderful meeting that you thought was just going to be lunch. Julie, listen, if you're tuning in, I love lunch. That's what I can say. I can eat in the UK and I can eat in Tanzania. I love lunch. So that meeting then has now got you to be the project coordinator.
Yes.
You also do, we're going to come back to that, but you also support other patients, right? You
Yes.
go into hospital. How do you do that?
So, thank you to Guy's Hospital, my consultants, all three of you, and the psychologist. I was asked in 2018 if I would like to speak about my experience to younger persons with the condition. And at first, I wasn't ready. I realized at the time, because I was able to do a lot of things like traveling, I used to run and be involved in a lot of sporting activities. But over the years, my health has changed a lot. But the HEME team at Guy's, they've been absolutely amazing. I can ask them questions, which has supported me over the last 3 years. And I've learned that eating beetroot does not help to grow your blood cells. As we were taught at an early age, eat a lot of beetroot. It would help to improve your blood cells.
They've got beetroot cubes. I almost fell for that one, actually. The
Yes.
beetroot cubes and all that kind of
Good
stuff.
for blood flow and blood pressure, yeah. but not to grow blood cells.
But what we say red means it helps with the heart rather than the blood cells. So yes, the hematology team at Guy's are just absolutely amazing. They've helped to educate me. But it was fear that stopped me from educating myself and researching.
Was it the
more.
fear of finding out more stuff that's not going to be great?
Yes, so I attended one of the events they had in my 20s, and I'm 52 now, so over 30 years ago. And literally, when I attended, I saw patients in wheelchairs. They were connected to tubes. They had their walking stick, and I was totally freaked out by it. I thought that was going to be my future, and I wasn't ready to take that on
Sorry, I have the cough and fit.
and live.
I think that makes sense, because if you start reading some things, and you should do, you can start reading some things and think, oh my goodness, you mean that could happen? And so you kind of don't really want to go any further for fear of hearing something worse, right?
Yes. And when I was ready, the first thing I did was I attended a weekend coaching course. And I was in love. But then I realized coaching wasn't what I wanted to do. But what it did do, it gave me the confidence to be able to speak about my lived experience and to support others. Remember, the first thing I said, I had an amazing grandmother, the best grandmother in the world, but also I have the best family. Because what they have done for me since I was born until now, I don't know how anybody could ever not talk about how amazing these people in your family are. But even up until more recently, they're always there for me. The aunties, the cousins. Unfortunately, I don't have any uncles left on my mother's side, but one left on my father's side. But the support you get from having a family, whether it's immediate or adopted, is one of the best things anybody with sickle cell could ever have. So I started meeting more patients, and the more I met, I attend the support group. I started attending the support group in person, but then when COVID happened, I didn't know about the online version. And I've met some amazing patients. You have the ones who are brave enough to do advocacy, the ones who just wanted to have a friend. Because when you have the condition, you find you don't know as many people, but through the
that also have it.
that also have the
Okay.
condition. But through the support group, I was able to meet so many. And the bravery of each of these individuals, I was ecstatic but overwhelmed as well. And then I started talking to the psychologist about doing advocacy. And one of the things she reminded me, you want to be able to support others, but you also need to think about your mental health.
Yeah.
And I did go through mental health. It was through stress, suffered anxiety, and I was seeing 3 therapists.
At the same time?
At the same time.
Okay, for three areas, or was it so acute that you needed to see 3?
Well, I was attending the support group one. I had one through work, and then I went to another that I'd asked my GP for. And I found that the support group one and the one that I asked my GP for was more helpful because they did CBD training with me.
Can you explain what CBD is?
That's a good question. They never did actually explain that to me. But literally, it's
cognitive behavioural therapy.
Yes, but it's literally where they get you back to the stage where you can focus on how to improve your life and get back to doing all the things that you used to do. Because remember, before I was ready to talk about my condition, I was partying, you know.
As you do.
Yes. So talking therapist through Croydon was also one of the best things ever. And every patient at some point has challenges mentally. And I think we should never put aside the fact that there is support there. And if you can't get it through your hospital, there are free talking therapists in different boroughs that you can engage in, and it's self-referral. Your GP should be able to have that information to hand.
Can I ask you something about? Thank you for sharing that. 3 therapists.
Yes.
That's deep. Can I ask you though? Do you think you would benefit more? Would it make a difference if I don't know the cultural heritage of your therapist, but I'm just asking about. We're already talking about people of our own culture, kind of understanding or not understanding the condition. Do you think there'd be a difference if you had somebody who was more culturally aware as your therapist?
I firmly believe so. One of the therapists kept saying to me, I think you've got anger issues. Considering I never raised my voice.
The thing is, right, we have to laugh, right, because it's just so ridiculous, isn't it? And the thing is, what you're saying, it's not even surprising, because that word. Anyway, let's let you carry on so out of time. But carry on.
Yes. I never raised my voice. He kept falling asleep in the sessions, and I felt like I was being his therapist. In the end, I ended those sessions because I found them pointless. But talking therapist.
Is it because you were angry that he was falling asleep, though?
Well, actually, no. I felt badly for him because I'm like thinking he was telling me more about what was going on in his life, and I was sitting there and listening.
Really, she felt badly for her therapist.
Because the role became reversed.
He should be paying you.
Well, I felt badly because when he was talking about family, I realised he had nothing compared to what I had, and I felt sorry for him. You know. However, the others, the one through Guy's Hospital and talking therapists through Croydon, they were more about helping me to rebuild my life rather than dwelling on the stresses and anxiety. They were encouraging me giving me activities to do mentally to improve those behaviors.
Yeah.
No. And to be honest, I can't thank them enough.
Mm-hmm.
So, apart from the one that I was being a therapist to,
Yeah.
the others were just great. And
That's spot on.
as I said, I would recommend them.
That's a twisted
to
table. You went
individuals.
to therapy and ended up being a therapist. Listen, Fiona, the reason I'm not worried about the fact that we've got so much more to share about you is because you and I have discussed that this feature, and we've spoken about others from the society coming onto the show, and we need to make some shows around. We need to raise more awareness, and we need to find out how we can work collaboratively with the association so that we can make some differences. So I do personally want to say to all of you in the Alliance, I just want to say thank you so much for allowing me to join your platform. It is a wonderful space to be in, and I'm looking forward to our work together in 2026. Your song choices Can't Give Up Now, right?
Yes.
We're going to play that in a moment, but before that, do you have any parting words for the listeners? Is there anything you want to share that you haven't yet shared?
Thank you. I think it's important that we understand, as much as we don't want to talk about or condition to others, being able to learn skills where you learn how to be open and talk about your condition can help so many more. Because if an individual doesn't understand what you're going through, you're not going to get the help and support that you need. But also, united we stand, divided we fall. If we
Absolutely.
don't stick together and work together, we're never going to achieve anything. And finally, we finally got Casjavi, which is a therapy and not a cure, to help individuals with sickle cell who experience more episodes than I do. And I'm looking forward to what the future is going to bring for many of us. So thank you.
Wonderful. So we're going to do a feature on that, I believe. And I think there's someone else that we're going to be having a conversation with. So guys, this is just the beginning. I could have Fiona on for 2 hours. There's so much to share, but we are going to have her back, and we're going to have other members of the society. But was there any final thing you wanted to say?
Again, more information, and as they say, knowledge is power. And the only way we can get that is for everyone else to share their experience. And yeah, which makes a great show. And listeners out there now know what to do, where to go, and how to deal with certain situations and illnesses. Brilliant.
And if people want to get hold of you,
it's Charter UK at blood.ac.tz. And I'd like to shout out to the Give Blood Spread Love team. We are on the Sickle Cell Society, and we're on Instagram, and we go out and we try to educate individuals about the importance of becoming a blood donor, because many individuals with sickle cell are on exchange blood transfusion. So please, Black Heritage Blood is strong, especially
thank you so much.
when we support each other. So please go out and become blood donors. You are my superheroes.
Fabulous, guys. So that's all we've got time for. It's your girl Blaze, and I'm out. But we're going to end with Can't Give Up Now, Mary Mary.